Good evening. I hope you are all having a nice time now. Now today is the exam day and we are going to have presentations. So I would like to know who are the presenters for today, because this is supposed to be your exam day and the last opportunity you have is next session. So please write in this box your name, your topic, and I tell you who is going to present first. Okay. Hakmal, can you write down your full name and a student number? Write down your full name and student number and your topic. Everybody sends me only one message. Very good. And please write down your student number. Wardak, Muhammad name. So that I can also record your exam session. Okay. So, Muhammad, is this your first presentation? Because I don't have a score of your first presentation. No, not necessary. You will present both. So I have to give you 2 scores today. All right. And you are ready for them. Very good. Who is the next one? Who is the next presenter? Mirwais, I made you the presenter. Please upload your file. Can you upload your file? If your PowerPoint has not changed, I'm going to upload it for you. Is it okay? Oh my God. Okay, let's move on to Mohammed Naeem. Mohammed Naeem, I have one presentation here, firm-specific factors, but you are going to present two documents. Okay, firm-specific factors is your final presentation.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I want to know which presentation is your first one and which is your final presentation.
The other one, sir, the other one you uploaded first. Firm-specific factors is my first presentation. Yeah, this one, okay.
Okay. Let me find, is it based on the article I sent you?
Yeah, that's based on the article.
Okay. Let me first open the article then. What was the name of the article? The Academy of Management one?
The title is written here, Firm-specific factors in the openness degree.
Okay. Can you, because I need to have the article in front of me, I don't know which article.
You see the name of the article, Firm-specific factors and the openness degree. This was the title of the article.
Okay.
There were 4 articles in that file.
Is it the one that I sent you alone, the last email I sent you?
No, there are 4 articles. Let me find it. There are 4 articles.
Email your 2 articles to me.
Okay, wait. There are 4 articles in one folder. One is firm-specific factors, is the one I chose. The other one is the open innovation towards the theory of OI. The other one is strategic application, the area of open innovation.
Okay.
Did you get it?
Hold on a second to find that email which I sent you.
Thank you. Good
Introduce
evening,
yourself
everyone.
as well.
And thanks for the lecturer giving me the opportunity to present my both presentations today. My first presentation is about innovation management and firm-specific factors in the open degree. First, I'd like to state the purpose and objectives of this paper, which I mainly put here about four objectives for this paper. Can everybody hear me? The purpose of this paper is to explore the models for opening up the innovation models and open approach to innovation. And the second one is to confirm the different models of open innovation that can be found in the practical world, and to study each different identified model and processes of innovation. We have the process of innovation. How the process of innovation is, we are going to study that in detail in the next slide. Okay, and the last objective of this paper is to verify whether different models imply for a different level of innovation performance. Mr. Aziz, can you hear me now? Okay, great. Research design and methodology, which was used in this paper, I would like to say something about that, about the data collected through questionnaires. The data which was used during that research paper, they have used questionnaires to collect the data, and company characteristics, innovation strategy, organization for innovation, they were also considered during the preparation of that paper. A pilot test was also conducted with a group of senior managers and other lecturers, academicians, and other experienced people in order to assess the quality of the measure of items. And during that assessment, some companies were randomly selected who would have been the recipients for the questionnaires and who were supposed to answer those questions. Okay, we are going to start with an open innovation. First, I have some introduction of open innovation, and then we'll go ahead. Open innovation is a model that assumes firms can and should use external ideas. Besides using their internal ideas, research and development, they have also required to use external ideas, and they have to use internal and external paths to market as the firms look to advance their technology. In today's industries, the logic that supports an internally oriented, centralized approach to research and development has become obsolete. That means now it's not the time that we only concentrate with the R&D, and we have to look outside the company and go outside to get the information from everywhere in order to work for the innovation. Useful knowledge has become widespread, and ideas must be used with speed. Innovation needs some speed in every area, so we have to have more speed up during the innovation process. Okay, in continuation to the introduction to innovation, we say such factors create a new logic of open innovation that embraces external ideas and knowledge in conjunction with internal R&D. So we cannot ignore the internal R&D, as we can say we go for open innovation. Internal R&Ds are still part of the innovation, we cannot ignore that. Innovators must integrate their ideas, expertise, and skills with those of others outside the organization to deliver the results to marketplace using the most effective means possible. That means we have to get together the ideas, information, not from the internal stakeholders, but also from the external stakeholders, such as suppliers, customers, and other stakeholders. So we have to consider the ideas, and then we have to go ahead. Okay, I have identified the 3 processes of innovation. However, they were not part of the paper which was submitted by our lecturer. I have done some external studies and took some of the information from other papers. The references are provided at the last page. We have 3 processes for innovation, which are inside-out process, outside-in process, and the third one is coupled process. It means that's the combination of the 2 processes of 1 and 2. Okay, the first one is inside-out process, which where companies focus on the externalizing of the company's knowledge and innovation in order to bring ideas to market faster. In this case, they have been trying to use the internal information and take them to market and import them in practice. And here in this slide, in this table, I have summarized some of the characteristics of inside-out processes, and we have some examples for it. Okay, the characteristics of those processes are like basic research-driven companies, objectives like decreasing the fixed cost of R&D and branding, setting standards, and etc. Inside-out process, bringing ideas to market, out-licensing and selling IP, multiplying technology through different applications. So we are coming to the next slide in order to do. Okay. Outside-in process. This approach means that company chooses to invest in cooperation with suppliers and customers and integrate the external knowledge gained. Here they also consider suppliers and customers and other external stakeholders into consideration in order to go for the innovation process. Okay. The result has also been summarized in the next slide. Characteristics of the outside-in processes have been like low technology industries for similar technology acquisition, active knowledge brokers, and or knowledge creators. Or we can see highly modular products or high knowledge intensity. Okay, outside-in process. An earlier supplier integration, customer co-development, and external knowledge sourcing and integration, and licensing and buying patents. So these are the examples of outside-in processes. So we are coming to the next slide. The third process, which is coupled, which is the combination of the 2 processes we have discussed earlier. Here it combines the outside-in process to gain external knowledge with the inside-out process to bring ideas to the market. Okay. The next slide also states some examples of the coupled or the process which has been the combination of the 2. And we're coming to the next slide, which shows in a kind of graph, it's a further explanation of the 3 processes. The first one, which is outside-in process, it brings the external knowledge to the inside of the company for the purpose of innovation and inside the boundary of the company. And the second one is inside-out process. And in this case, the internal ideas and information and knowledge has been taken to the market. It has been exploited to the outside companies. In the coupled process, it is the combination of the both, which has been discussed before. External knowledge is brought into the company, and these both knowledges have been exploited and they have been taken to the market. Okay, this is a similar explanation, but in a summary form, which you say outside in-process external knowledge, customer and suppliers together with inside. It's just in a simple manner. Sir, can you tell me how much time do I have?
We have about 6 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure.
Okay, companies, firm, specific factors in open innovation. Here, some firm-specific factors have been considered in order to go for the open innovation model. Here, we have research and development intensity is the factor of research into open innovation, the size of the company, approach to innovation, company's objectives in organizational and managerial actions. In open innovation models, we have number and types of phases of innovation funnel, and then we have number and types of partners. Here we have two variables, which can be the number of number of phases, and the other one is the type or number of partners. We go to the innovation performance. So the firm-specific factors each has been explained in detail. So because of the shortage of time, I would not be able to explain it line by line. So research and development is the level of R&D, which has been simple and everybody can understand. Size of the company is, of course, a smaller or bigger company. It depends on the size of the company. And approach to innovation is also how the companies approach the process of innovation, how they think of innovation, how they are going about their innovations. And firms which emphasizes on radical innovation are like obviously not able to develop all knowledge internally. Okay, there could be incremental innovations or radical innovations. It depends on the approach of the company. And company's objectives is also one of the firm-specific factors which affect the innovation process. And organizational and management actions should also be considered as one of the firm-specific factors. Okay, the methodology followed in this paper, which was given, was cluster analysis, was performed using the two variables like the partner variety and the innovation phase variety. Two variables were included here. ANOVA analysis is performed to explore if the emerging cluster are different. That means analysis of variances was also part of the this paper, this research. Once those factors that differentiate clusters have been identified, the regression model was also built into the explicit test and relationships between the two variables. This was the third method, which is regression analysis model. It was also used. Cluster analysis has been explained, which I discussed before. It has two variables, which is partner variety and innovation phase variety. These are two distinguished different open innovation models for eventual adoption in practice. Analysis of variances is also used during the research of this paper, and this is performed to explore if the emerging cluster are different in terms of firm-specific factors reported in previous slides. These factors were derived by the questionnaire item preliminary subjected to factors analysis in order to optimize the constructs. Okay, great. And regression analysis model. Once those two models have been used, factors that differentiate clusters have been identified. The regression model is built. That is specific test for relationships between the two variables representing the openness degree and the relevant firm-specific factors emerge from the analysis of variances. Innovation performance was the last stage. The impact of open innovation models on performance has been analyzed in terms of company's competence-based development cost, etc. Okay, the results of this analysis was, the analysis was performed over 99 companies that has resulted to the following cluster. It has about cluster number 1, there were 43 companies. They were like totally open innovators. And there was cluster number 2, 9 companies that was integrated collaborator. This is something between open innovators and closed innovators. And cluster number 3, there were 11 companies, which is called specialized collaborations. And these are similar to integrated collaborations and is an intermediate position between open and closed innovation. In cluster number 4, there were 36 companies out of 99 companies. They are closed innovators, and the refers to the closed innovators. This is the second largest group within the analysis. Okay, this was the model of the model which was used to, we could say there was a part-based variety and partner variety, where the different clusters were identified, cluster number 1, 2, and 4 with their names. Okay, the acronyms which were used during this presentation were Open Innovation, Analysis of Variances, and the references have been listed here. And thank you.
Very much, Muhammad Naeem. It was very good. I just would like to ask you a question. Go to the slide which you showed the theoretical model, please. The inside out, outside in, and a couple processes.
Okay, the 3 processes.
Very well.
Yeah,
okay, if I ask you, when do we use inside out process? What would you answer me?
Okay, inside out processes means we have to bring ideas to market. That means if we have a hard R&D, research and development and knowledge within the company, or we have a good brand name or something other, we can sell it, like we can.
And why do we do that? Why do we sell our technology to someone else? Why do we sell our brand to someone else?
Okay,
what is the motivation?
Motivation for that could be to sell it for money, to get some advantages, profit out of it.
Okay.
It could be for the goodwill of the company.
Goodwill, I'm not very much sure, but normally, you mean when you sell the brand name, it becomes more famous?
More famous, everybody can understand.
Okay, yeah. Exactly. And sometimes when you have a technology, but you don't have enough resources to use this technology, then you outsource it. You sell it to someone else. You have a patent on a technology. You sell it to someone else so that the other company uses its own resources in order to bring this technology to market, in order to commercialize the invention that you have in company A. Okay, very nice. I'm very happy about your presentation. Now, if anyone else has a question? Does anyone else have a question? Please ask questions, because when you ask questions, it is considered as part of your class participation. This is the time you can get extra score for class participation. Okay. I call on you to ask questions. Let's Lida Akbari. Can you ask a question from Muhammad Naeem? Okay, Lida was not in class. So Navid, Mikhail, no, you should ask a question. Well, there should be a question. Navid, can you ask a question? Okay. Why iPhone is a good example of inside-out process? Ask Mohammad Naeem. Can you answer Mirvais?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Is it relevant? Is this question relevant? You can also say that this question is also. You can also express your opinion on the question type. Maybe you find the question irrelevant. Maybe you find it useful. So it is your art how to answer the question.
Okay, great. Actually, I don't know much more about iPhone, how they are working, how the company is, and how it is. But as I understand, Mr. Mirwais means that the company is very much focused on the innovations, and therefore they won't have, as you said before, they won't have enough resources, and they might have done their inside innovations, and they might have used it to the market, to the external market. And they might have not taken benefits from external stakeholders, like we can say, in outside and process.
Okay, let's look at Obaidullah. Obaidullah says that because it sells its brand to some other companies. Obaidullah, what other companies have Apple sent its brand to? Can you give us some examples, Obaidullah? No, when Apple is being produced in China illegally, it's one thing. If your factory is in another country, it does not mean that you have sold your brand to another country. It is different from licensing. You can have a factory. Nike has a factory in China because the wages are low, because the environmental regulations are not very stringent and very tough. So Nike has a factory in China, and Nike produces its products in China, but it does not mean that China has access to Nike's brand. It's just a factory location. It's just because its land is cheaper, water is cheaper, electricity is cheaper, people are cheaper. So you go there, you produce there. Okay, they use their sources. They use sources in China and they pay tax to government. When you have a factory in China, who taxes your factory? Chinese government. It's like Mirwais has 10 houses. Mirwais wants to make money. Mirwais rents his house to Navid. If Navid rents a house from Mirwais, does that mean that Navid owns the house? No. Navid just lives in the house, sleeps in the house, uses the house, pays some money to Mirwais, and that's it. No, this is not iPhone. They copy iPhone. This is illegal. No, if you do something illegal, it's illegal. If you copy something, it's copying. Is not. The point here is that if somebody copies someone, you think that the guy has a permission. No, they don't have the permission to do that. Actually, Samsung had a law court with Apple because Apple sued Samsung for copying a lot of applications. This does not mean that they have legally licensed. This is not inside-out process. This is copying. This is a stealing process. Yeah, Samsung. So, yeah, even if Samsung won the court, still they don't have a licensing from Apple. Okay, let's distinguish. Inside out means that you sign a contract, everything is legal, you sell your technology or you rent your technology. It is totally different from offshoring in a sense that you go to China, you have your technology to yourself. Of course, then the Chinese companies will copy your technology, but they steal it from you. It's not that you let them have it. They steal it from you. So this is illegal. Yeah. So this is not right. This is, if they sign a contract, if Suzuki signs a contract, and if they have the permission, then everything is okay. This is inside-out process. It should be legal, it should be normal, the benefits should be shared legally and normally and with agreement, so then there is no problem with that. Okay. Like Coca-Cola in every country, yes. Coca-Cola licenses the Coca-Cola production to some other companies, and they do it. Still, Coca-Cola formula is sealed. Nobody knows that. Only 5 or 6 people know about Coca-Cola formula, and that's it. They don't give the formula. They just license it. They franchise it. In some cases, you may also give the formula. You sell the formula. Okay, this is also legal. This is inside-out process. Yeah, but if something is legal, if something is done consciously, legally, with agreement, is okay. It's inside-out process. If somebody steals your, it's like that somebody steals your clothes and walks on the street, and then Ubaidullah says, "Hey, you are wearing my jacket," and the guy says, "No, I did not steal your jacket. I borrowed your jacket." And Ubaidullah does not remember any time this guy borrowed anything from him. Ubaidullah says, "You are stealing my jacket." The guy says, "No, I am borrowing your jacket." But the guy really stole Ubaidullah's jacket. So this is not an inside-out process. This is a stealing process. Okay. Now, we want to move to the second presentation of Muhammad Naeem. Muhammad Naeem, are you ready to do that?
Yes, sir. Before I go to the next presentation, there was a question from Mr. Naeem Yakhel.
Okay.
So I can answer it if possible. He asked what are the benefits of these steps of the process and what else can be added to the steps if possible. The 3 processes which have been explained here, they are just an explanation of how an innovation is coming. The first one, as we said, the innovation is coming from within the company, it goes out. And they sell it or they franchise it or any other methods. The other one is they are taking external information and knowledges from customers and suppliers and use it to innovate something. And the third one is just a combination. So these are just the way how companies do the innovations. So they are not simply followed, but just the way how they do it.
Okay. Very well. Does anyone else have a question? If no, let's move on to the next presentation. Please move on.
Okay, sir. Okay. My next presentation is about open innovation and, or we can say, the understanding of open innovation. Advantages of open innovation. In this presentation, I have put the acronyms in the first slide, because first we have to understand the acronyms used in the presentation, and then we can go ahead with the presentation. IP means intellectual property rights, and so on. Original equipment manufacturer, open innovation, research and development, and small and medium enterprises. This is just for your information. Again, the objectives of this paper, the primary objectives of this paper was to enhance my research skill and knowledge and to understand the advantages of open innovation. And this paper can also help in providing rational knowledge on how companies can benefit from open innovation. Sources of information during the presentation of during the preparation of this presentation was mainly the secondary source of information has been used in order to gather the information for this presentation. Okay, I have also discussed some limitations of information gathering for this presentation. As everybody knows, a wide range of books, magazines, and materials have not been available in Afghanistan. And meanwhile, these days, access to internet is also a problem. And electricity, which has been discussed by our colleagues, is also another problem which we cannot have it all the time. Okay. Here I have started again with the definition of innovation. So the first thing, we have to understand the innovation, then we can go to the open innovation and so on. Innovation is the process of translating an idea or invention into a good or service. When we have an idea or some knowledge, we invent it to goods or physical goods or services which creates value for customers. That values where customers will pay for it. Okay. The future of many businesses depends upon their ability to innovate. Competition is fierce, knowledge spreads quickly. The ability of a company to not only keep up with its current business practices but to exceed its own and its competitors or competition. Expectations are critical to survival. That means nowadays companies should speed up their innovation process, and they should work harder on the innovations, otherwise they cannot compete in the current critical markets. Innovation can be in the form of new products or service, or it can be in the form of cost reduction, or it can be in the improvement of business processes. We cannot simply say innovation means producing something new in terms of goods or services. It can also be in terms of cost reduction and also improvements to internal business processes. The benefits of innovation occur in all aspects of profit and loss statements. It means any step in innovation can finally result in the favorable or we can say adverse movement in the financial statements, which can be the income statements. Innovators drive additional sale volume, achieve price premiums, and reduce costs through process improvements. In addition to the financial benefits, innovation goes hand in hand with sustainable development initiatives, as both require progressive leadership and an appetite for change, combined with tolerance, patience, and sale price premium, we can say, or reduction in costs, so it helps in any area of the business. Okay, in this slide we are going to start with open innovation. Again, there's the same definition which I have stated in my other presentation. Open innovation is a model that assumes firms can and should use external ideas as well as internal ideas. They should not simply concentrate on R&D. So the second paragraph gives the same meaning. A company's ability to innovate is key to its success. In the strategic and systematic opening up of internal innovation process to include external knowledge, external knowledge in other words, innovation can result in significant competitive advantages. Open innovation is the practice of problem solving by looking beyond companies' boundaries to the outside world and experiencing discoveries as part of the innovation process instead of relying exclusively on the internal skills of one's own research and development. So when we say open innovation, we have to go out of the business, out of the boundaries of the business, and use external knowledge and experiences. This is the continuation of the previous slide, which has been given more details. Introducing open innovation should not be seen as a process for outsourcing internal R&D, and this certainly should not be the result. Rather, external research should be regarded as complementing internal R&D activities. Here we can summarize it. It doesn't mean that if we ignore internal R&D and we just go out for external knowledges. That's not the case. We have to use both internal in practice. Companies that implement open innovation tend to maintain or even increase their R&D budget. That means in addition to going out for external knowledge and resources, R&D can be maintained or even it can be increased. Open innovation paradigm. The open innovation paradigm encourages companies to explore internal and external sources of innovation, opportunities to integrate those with the capabilities and resources of a company, and broadly exploit the new opportunities through multiple channels. Okay, the advantages of open innovations. Here I have listed some advantages of open innovations, which are the general advantages. So they can be easier and they could be read like we can say reduce the risk of innovation, less risk guessing what the market wants, and integrated community innovation and so on. We will go to the next slide. Okay. Here a title has been missed from here. It has been displaced. I'm not sure what. But strategic. Okay, let me go to the next slide. The titles have been missed from here. Sorry. Okay, open innovation, slide number 14. Open innovation is about strategic IPR management, strategic R&D and innovation, both technology and business models, commercial innovation, when partnership, and so on. Okay, slide number 15, the title has been missed, and the title is Open Innovations in Porter's Value Chain. Porter's Value Chain is a model which we will see on the next slide. And here we have just questions of what does it mean to have an open business model. Think of all the things you do in your value chain and how it fits into the entire supply chain. What's the value chain? Everything you currently do or that contributes to your value creation, product or service, is your value chain. You can think of the supply chain as all other participants, suppliers, partners, and channels between your value chain and ultimate customer. Again, the title of this slide has been missed. It's the continuation of the previous slide. This is Porter's value chain, which explains the entire activities within a company. Here we have support activities and we have primary activities. In support activities, we have human infrastructure, resources, technology development, and procurement. And we have primary activities of inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing, and selling services. Here, both of the support and primary activities come together, and we add up some markup, and we get selling price. That means, in this graph, each of the activity, which can be support activity or which can be a primary activity, which add value to the product or service for which the customer is going to pay. Sorry, sir. Can you tell me all the time?
You have still around 4 minutes because you have done some extra research, so 1 minute, 2 minutes extra is not a problem.
Okay, thanks. Okay, slide number 17. Again, the title is missing. I'll tell you from here. Okay. Open innovation is much more cost-effective than internal R&D. If you have open innovation, we can save more in compared to spending more money on internal research and development. So we don't have to be afraid of prioritizing our internal R&D needs in order to attract outside innovators. Competitors are unlikely to reorient their own thinking to follow you. Okay, if you're still concerned about competitors taking your nascent idea, don't put your company name on the brief and phrase it in terms of the underlying science to be solved. And these are the addition to that of open innovation. Okay, the areas where we can use open innovation, or where the open innovation is working. Open innovation can be in terms of exploring technologies outside the boundaries of the company. This is an area where open innovation works. So I have to summarize it. That means technologies, use of internal technologies outside the company boundaries, like in terms of franchising, selling to other companies, can be an area where we can use open innovation. And the second one is using corporate venture capital and corporation venturing. Here also the explanation has been given. Corporate venture capital and corporate venturing, by defining corporate venture capital, is an investment that a company does to fund directly external startups or startups that has spun off. Corporate venturing, on the other hand, is a general term to all venture activities in company, includes also spinning off internal ventures. So the third area where it works for open innovation is proactive management of IP and intangible assets. So if we properly or proactively manage our intellectual properties, such as brand and other intangible assets, that's also an area where we can use open innovation. Open source development. Open source development refers to development where the source code of computer program is free, available, and shared via the internet. Okay, here we come. How can small companies use open innovation? Small businesses can start with a couple of key challenges and create noise around the challenges by promoting them to their customers, for example, at their storefront places and other places. Okay, to summarize, I have to go to the next slide. Here I have also included a case, success story of a case of Curana company, which was successful, where they were successful in the open innovation process. The detail has been given, and I have to skip them. Okay, in conclusion of this research or this write-up was that we can conclude open innovation promises more effective and efficient generation of ideas and solutions. Open innovation can be a distinction can be made between methods for acquiring information on needs and generation of solution of information. Customers, users, and other external experts are no longer seen as mere providers of basic information for evolving existing products, but as partners for generating knowledge relevant to innovation. And companies' own R&D departments are no longer considered the only source of solution. Rather, the aim is to leverage the vast potential of solution knowledge available in external business environments. Moreover, open innovation calls for a shift in strategic orientation in the organization and company's culture. Open innovation also needs to be planned, managed, monitored, and formalized. The references have been listed, and thank you.
Very much. It was really nice. Very well done, and you also finished within the time allotted. So let's ask questions. First, the students, do you have any questions?
Okay, sir. The first question
Yes.
is Mr. Naveed Nakhel.
Yes.
He says, can you please give an example of how open innovation reduces the risk of companies? As you know, in current markets, in current competitive markets,
Yes.
companies' sustainability depends on their innovation.
Okay.
If companies are proactive with innovation, they can still exist in the future. They can compete in the current market. However, if they cannot spend more or they don't concentrate on their innovations, they won't be sustainable, and they won't compete in current market.
Very well. Can you talk about real options as well? Because in this paper they talked about that open innovation has not been very well linked to real options. What do they mean?
Okay, real options, I think it's a little bit related to the financial instruments. We were talking about the options, futures, stamping, institution, and the physical delivery of goods or services take places.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you very much. Beautiful, very nice, very to the point. Anyone else has a question?
Okay, there are some questions about the advantages of open innovations. Like the question is coming from Mr. Mustafa Ghafari, how open innovation is cost reducing process. This is the same like the question that I replied before to Mr. Miakhir. The sustainability of a company depends on the innovation, and innovation helps companies to increase their salary revenues. They can also help, on the other hand, to reduce their costs. So that the question is coming from Mr. Midways. Could you please tell us how small companies can use open innovations? What are the challenges? Okay, for small companies, the challenge could be economies of scale, or we can say economies of scope. They might have problems as their nature.
Very well.
From their nature, the companies are small. They cannot invest much more money on the innovations. That's why it would be difficult for them to concentrate on the innovation and spend more money comparing to the larger companies.
Very
The
nice.
question has been asked from user about the real options that we can do.
Okay. Very fantastic, very nice. Thank you very much. You got a very good score for that. You will get to know your score after everyone else's is finished. Now let's move on to Mirwais, I guess. Or no, Mirwais doesn't present because of the voice. What is your status, Mirwais? If Mirwais can present, we move on to Mirwais' presentation. Okay. Who else is going to present today? Do you know that the next session we don't have enough time for everyone? Okay. We take a short break of no, I will not do that because 1 month, no, 3 weeks ago we have planned this. You had enough time to prepare. We had enough time to think about it. We had enough time to go through it. There is no extension. There is no nothing. If I cannot get your presentation, I just leave the scores empty. We are adults. We should be able to plan our exam, and we should be able to stick to it. Of course, why not? This is your exam session today, and you don't take responsibility for your exam, and you don't like to be hardworking, and you don't like to be ready for your exam. So, of course, the next presentation, next session, unless those who wrote in my email, that it's 22nd of December, I will look at them differently. I will not look. Mohammed Naeem did a perfect presentation. Mohammed Naeem didn't have problem, prepared everything, and everything's fine. And he got a very good score, very good, excellent score. So, of course, there is a difference among those who are serious and those who are not serious, those who are hardworking and those who are not hardworking. That's very clear. So next session, I will have like 15 presentation. No, these are all the stories. We used to do these things since we were 7 years old. So I'm very well familiar with that. Okay, we take a short break of 5 to 7 minutes. If Mirwais can solve his problem, we listen to Miray's presentation. Okay? If not, I tell you something else. Let's take a break. Oh, is everyone ready? Can you see the PowerPoint? Is the slide visible to you? All right. Now we came up to a value proposition last time, and we want to really know how we can create value out of knowledge management process. Well, value proposition is the first step in a firm in pursuing knowledge sharing is to identify its own value proposition. In fact, a value proposition is the logical link between action and payoff. You want to know when you do a certain action, what kind of reward you are getting. For example, if we do action A, then B will happen, and the return on B is higher than either the cost of A or the potential risk of not making B happen. If I pay for my MBA course, which is action A, there is a cost involved here. And action A MBA, if I do it, B happens. What is B? A good job. And a good job is a job which has a certain characteristics. You feel happy, you feel self-satisfied, you get more money, so the dollar sign goes higher if A happens. Or the potential risk of not making B happen. If I don't do MBA, it's the potential risk that I lose my even current job. This is the new job. This is the current job. New job is better than the current job. If I don't do MBA, even I lose my current job. So this is the potential risk of not making B happen. Okay? So it is the business case for action and investment. So we want to see how we can link these value propositions to our different, let's say, businesses. If we are in a bank let me use the yellow color. If we have the bank utilities companies, bank and utilities companies, we may probably have the value proposition that we want to maintain customer intimacy, and I will explain why. If we have high-tech firms, we may be willing to have best practices in the product development. If we have capital-intensive organizations, we may very well want to have operational excellence. Therefore, we have different value propositions for different companies and different sectors with different goals. These are also the three value propositions which we talk about. So, what are the steps involved? First and foremost, we need to focus. To ensure the S here is wrong, valuable resources are applied to high payoff areas. You need to have a very careful resource allocation. And this is very important. The second thing is if you focus, it helps you guarantee transfer of the right knowledge. So we don't want to transfer any knowledge, we want to transfer the right knowledge, the usable knowledge. If you focus, which is the step one, it gets management attention and funding. So each organization takes different actions based on the payoff it expects. But these are the 3 steps to take to make sure that the payoff, the reward, is worth the action taken by the organization. And second thing, the second step is which value proposition is best for me. You look for the highest pain or the highest gain. Highest pain is the investment because it aches, it bites you. Highest gain is the reward, is the profit, because it's a gain. The third step is you need to be flexible because businesses change, environment changes, and market rise and fall. In fact, market rises and falls, to be grammatically correct here. So you need to be flexible. You have to start with a focus, clear focus. You need to choose the proposition that best suits for you. You know, which of these propositions, this proposition, this proposition, or this proposition. And you need to be flexible. Focus may change with time and events. Okay, now environment changes. Mirai says why environment changes. Imagine now Afghanistan is improving very fast. Imagine suddenly Afghanistan signs a treaty, a contract with Europe and says that Afghanistan's products can go to Europe without paying the foreign tax. Imagine how many billions of dollars are created by this single treaty. And businessmen who were in the business of investing in production, suddenly they think of exporting natural resources of Afghanistan, because when you export, you escape this foreign tax, and you make a lot of money, so you don't need to produce machineries in Afghanistan. You go to exporting, for example, let's say Afghanistan has pistachio, you go to export pistachio instead of building a factory and make certain machineries. So a company has a fund, has a capital, and the company should decide how to use its capital wisely. So environment changes, your focus changes. Instead of focusing on, for example, building machineries, you focus on exporting natural resources. So the first value proposition is about customer intimacy, which was in banks and utility businesses. So customer intimacy has to do with customer. So in fact, your focus is customer, customer, customer. So you are trying to increase customer satisfaction and retention. Retention here means you need to have happy customers and you need to keep your customers so that your customers do not go, customers of Navid customers do not go to Ubaidullah's shop, because Navid wants to have happy customers, wants to keep Muhammad happy, and wants to make sure that Muhammad Aziz continues going to Navid to do purchases and not to Ubaidullah. So you increase revenue and reduce cost of selling and increase customer satisfaction and retention. So your knowledge sharing actions focus on capturing knowledge about customers. If Navid wants to keep Muhammad as his own customer, because Navid sells Porsche, Muhammad loves Porsche, but Muhammad also loves BMW. But so far, Muhammad is keeping buying a Porsche every year from Navid. So Navid needs to capture knowledge about Muhammad and develop and transferring knowledge and understanding of Muhammad's needs, Muhammad's preferences, so business to increase sales, because Navid wants to sell to Muhammad more Porsche each year, as well as bringing the knowledge of the organization to bear on customers' problems. So if Muhammad has a problem, Navid should know that problem, because Navid wants to help Muhammad solve his problem, so that keeps buying from Navid. So this is the basic element in customer intimacy. You try to be intimate, you try to be close to your customers. So you develop and transfer knowledge and understanding of customers' needs, preferences, and business to increase sales, as well as bringing the knowledge of the organization to bear on customers' problems. So when you do this, then knowledge transfer and best practices around customers can benefit organization, which is here Navid, in 5 ways. Yes, so Navid is now benefiting how? Corporate image is one of the benefits. So the transfer of knowledge can benefit Navid in 5 ways. For example, present a single face and corporate image to customer. So no matter how many divisions or products you have one corporate image. Navid's corporate image is that we care for our customers, and that's it. Navid needs to provide a one-stop shopping for his customers. And one-stop shopping is about convenience, is about, let me change the color, is about convenience. So when Muhammad wants to change the tires, goes to Navid. When Muhammad wants to buy accessories for his Porsche, goes to Navid. When Muhammad wants to change the seats, go to Navid. When Muhammad wants to change the summer tires to winter tires, goes to Navid. When Muhammad wants to change the lights, goes to Navid. So all the needs of Navid, Muhammad is with Navid. So Navid provides convenience by one-stop solution. Yes. And then you remember that sometimes your organization does not have the capacity to accommodate, to cover all needs. What you do is that you form cooperations and alliances with some other companies so that a group of companies provide this one-stop solution. For example, if Navid cannot answer all the needs of Muhammad, Navid signs a contract with another company to help Navid not to let Muhammad go to someone else. Because when you have a alliance with another company, you share the profits. But if Muhammad goes to, for example, Ubaidullah, Navid even loses that little bit of a sharing of profits. Exactly. Now, another benefit is that when we give service representatives the information they require to treat customers and to answer questions and solve problems more quickly, this is what increases customer satisfaction. So Navid should train his sales people in order to answer Muhammad very well, so that Muhammad is a happy customer. Satisfaction increases when salespeople know how to handle the customers. Moreover, you need to become so intimate that cost of exit becomes too high for customers to consider. If for every problem Muhammad goes to Navid, so Muhammad knows that Navid is a very good businessman. Navid knows everything about Muhammad. Even if Muhammad does not have money enough to pay all the Porsche price, at the same time Navid says, no problem, I get your checks, I accept your checks. So the customer intimacy is very high with Navid. So Muhammad does not dare to switch, because Muhammad knows that if Muhammad goes to Ubaidullah, Ubaidullah does not have this intimacy, this close relationship. So Muhammad loses a lot here. The cost of switching is very high. Another thing is that you need to help salespeople grow more efficient and effective selling attitudes. You need to do cross-selling and repeat selling. So if your salespeople are very efficient, they sell to Muhammad, they sell to Muhammad's brother, they sell to Muhammad's father, they do a lot of cross-selling, they sell to Muhammad 3 times in 5 years. So when the sales are efficient, then you keep your customers and you keep profiting. So these are all about the value proposition 1, which is customer intimacy, and it's suitable for banks and utilities. Of course, I use the auto industry example because it was more interesting, but normally it is with service industry more, because when you are, for example, in a bank, you have 4 or 5 accounts with a certain bank, and then they know you. You always have a problem. You write an email to them. You say that, okay, my credit card is stopped. My card does not work. I forgot my password. So you get to know these people, and you have a personal sales officer. It's very hard for you to switch to a new bank because nobody knows you there, and you have to close all accounts and open new accounts and the letters, change the address. You have registered your bank address with your boss to pay your salary. You have registered your bank address with the places you buy credits, you buy products, and you pay later. You do all your credit shopping. So it's very hard to change. The switching cost is high, and so you probably don't do that unless you're really pissed off. So the value proposition 2 has to do with product to market excellence. So what is this one? In fact, if you are a high-tech firm, your value proposition is most probably to gain the best practice in product development. And what I'm telling you is not the only solution, is not the only value. I'm just giving you examples of how you come up with value propositions and how you manage them. Therefore, by reducing time to market and designing and commercializing new products more quickly and successfully, it will increase revenue, retain market lead. So you are still a leader in the market when you have a high revenues and many people buy from you. So your market share is high and you grow profit margins. So to focus, to gain product to market excellence, you need to have two focuses. You need to focus on two transfer strategies. The first one is you need to ensure new ideas and new design from inside and outside the organization are incorporated into product and service offering. And this is what let me look at this. This is what Muhammad Naeem Hakmal talked about. The transfer strategies, the new design from inside and outside of the organization are incorporated into product and service offering. And is in the product to market excellence. And the second thing is you need to accelerate the product development process by reusing lessons learned from earlier attempts, learning from mistakes. You better also keep in mind that the importance of speed as a driver of business change. New products become yesterday's new more rapidly. So what here this sentence means that new products become yesterday's news more rapidly. It means that you need to be so fast so that your products do not get old. So the whole focus is that not only you develop your products very fast, but also you get them to market very fast. So that if you have a new product, but it does not get to market very fast, it becomes old automatically because the other companies are producing new products and they are giving them to market, they are distributing them to market, they take the market share away from you. So product development pipeline need to be full with new ideas and products. So you have always new products and you need to pass them to market very fast. So no time to reinvent the wheel. Just do the new products and just get them to market very fast. So how does knowledge transfer and the best practices, here BP stands for best practices and this is knowledge transfer, in product development helps? Well, first, it shortened the time to market process. Second, it embeds the right knowledge and functionality in product or service. So when you use the right knowledge, the product is modern. For example, you have a coffee machine. You produce coffee machines. Let's say a very basic example. This coffee machine does not automatically turn off. After a survey, your customers say that we would like to make a change in our coffee machines because sometimes we forget to turn off the coffee machines and it's very dangerous. There is a hazard of fire and the house gets fired. So you come up with the function. The function is that if your coffee machine is turned on and it stays on for about half an hour, after half an hour it automatically shuts down. So this is a function that you have to add to your coffee machines. And the right knowledge is there. So if you don't have knowledge management process, you do not transfer this piece of knowledge which you have learned from your customers to the department of design and then to the department of production and then to the department of testing, quality testing. and then to the marketing department, so that in the box of the coffee machine they write new function added, automatic turn off coffee machine. So you see how knowledge travels through the company, and knowledge management says you need to have this process in place to transfer the knowledge from customers to the final marketing and packaging department all throughout the organization, so that your new product has the new functionality. So it also cuts the cost associated with successful and unsuccessful products. If it becomes successful, you produce more. If it's not successful, you produce less. So allowing more profitable product launches per year. Okay, you have to learn quickly. You're successful or you are not successful. Another point is about the third value proposition. It is always important to know that what business you are in. If your business is a capital-intensive one, it means that if your business requires a lot of money, like automobile industry, as you might probably have audiences engaged in it, in, let's say, car manufacturing, automobile manufacturing. The value proposition is to achieve operational excellence. Operational excellence means that you can produce high quality with low money, a low level of investment. So, in this case, your productivity is very important, and your performance level. So the value proposition has a clear focus. You have to focus your value proposition on the transfer of operational processes and know-how from top-performing business units and processes to less well-performing businesses, because you want to ultimately improve the organizational overall performance. By what? Reduce the expenses and increasing the revenues. You need to reduce the cost of production, you need to increase productivity, you need to raise the performance. And these are the things you're focusing on. I have provided some examples here for you because I want to show you how firms really focus on these value propositions. So PF means primary focus, SF means secondary focus, okay? Arthur Andersen, for example. Arthur Andersen is based in Chicago, and it was once one of the 5 big accounting firms, okay? So Arthur Andersen, primary focus was customer intimacy. Why? Because it's accounting firms. An accounting firm deals, all the companies should have these accounting audits. So there is a very close relationship between an accounting firm and its customer. And the customers are normally big companies. So these accounting firms knows a lot about this customer. And it's very difficult to change your company because this accounting firm knows everything, because the Arthur Andersen is preparing your accounts and checking them and auditing them. So customer intimacy is the primary focus. I told you, if it's a utility company, customer intimacy is probably the most important value proposition. The secondary focus is operational excellence. And operational excellence means to work efficiently, reduce the cost, raise the performance level. If it's British Petroleum, the primary focus is operational excellence. They don't have a secondary focus either in product to market or customer intimacy. If it is Hewlett-Packard, the primary focus is operational excellence. It means that they have to produce computers which are efficiently produced. It means that the cost of production is very low, the performance is very high, the quality is very high. And the secondary focus is product to market. They have to get their computers fast enough to market to surpass Sony, to pass Apple, to pass Dell, and stuff like that. And as it goes down, you see that the primary focuses of the rest are, the remaining three are in product to market, and the last one, Chevron, is primary focus is operational excellence. Chevron has operational excellence as a primary focus because Chevron is a energy company. They have products for marine, lubricants, fuels, energy services, chemicals. So they work with products. It's capital intensive. So for them, operational excellence is the primary value proposition. So if Chevron wants to have, let's say, a knowledge management system, Chevron has to strategically direct its knowledge management process activities towards what? Operational excellence. And every purchase the Chevron does in knowledge management softwares are focused on operational excellence. So knowledge management measurement. Valery Konevsky from HP company says, the fundamental building material of a modern corporation is knowledge. So in this world, when we learn about innovation, we know that the fundamental building material is knowledge. Using knowledge to make money is a real challenge. So your art is how you make money from your knowledge. And to figure out how to better manage knowledge assets to maximize returns, how do we measure knowledge, our best practices sharing, and measure by observing its impact on other sources. So we measure our knowledge management activities through these. And what are these? In fact, we measure knowledge management process outcomes by observing its impact on our innovation process, stock market valuations, performance improvement, and cost of not knowing. Sometimes, as I told you, not knowing costs a lot. One very basic example. If you know that you have exam tomorrow, next week, you prepare yourself for that exam. If, for example, you don't know that you have exam next week, the cost of not knowing that you have exam next week is very high. If you know it, is normal. You take your exam, you have still a lot of trouble preparing yourself. But the cost of not knowing is very high. In knowledge management process, your classmates, because you have established very good relationship with your classmates, because you have been very nice to them, they call you, they remind you, and your knowledge management takes the knowledge necessary for you, to you, so you receive the piece of knowledge and you know that you have exam next week. So this is about the cost of not knowing. And these are the four areas when you measure that if your knowledge management is successful, you have improvement in all of these four areas. So we are actually finishing this session little by little. So as we establish processes to transfer knowledge within organizations, new ideas have fewer chances to get lost. When your ideas do not get lost, therefore, they are going to contribute to your innovation process. As a result, the management of this knowledge helps our organization to produce more new services, more new products. In service industries, for example, the tacit knowledge in employees' heads may be the solution to a problem of a customer, so that you keep your customer intimacy you keep the customer happy, satisfied, and you keep the customer in your bank. If we do not capture and utilize this knowledge, we will not be able to buy customer satisfaction and retain our customers. What happens then? We need to maintain current customers over years. And we don't have a knowledge management process, this does not happen. Winning new customers are the profitable effects of the proper knowledge management system. But also, if you lose your customers, this is the loss of not having a proper knowledge management system. A quick imagination. Imagine how much marketing expenses you should spend to win a new customer. But if you look at the statistics, some of them show that winning a new customer is 5 times more expensive than retaining one. That's why we say that we have to have a good knowledge management system in order to keep our customers, because if you want to get a new customers, you have to invest 5 times in your marketing expenses. And customer retention could be a matter of combining with new products and services to satisfy them and continuously serving customers very well on the run, the way as your business goes on. So, now we go to this slide. You see, we have tangible assets. There is a gap here. This is the gap between. Let me change the color. These are the tangible assets. This is company A. This is company B. They have the same level of tangible assets. The gap between the value of a firm's tangible assets and its market capitalization implies there is a knowledge asset. When there is this distance here, this shows that company B has knowledge management because they have intellectual capital. The market value is here, and here is the market value of this company A. This is the net difference. Knowledge is the main driver of innovation in firms like Microsoft. If your company does not manage knowledge properly, your firm cannot get an edge, a competitive edge over competitors. Look at here. Microsoft has an edge. This is an edge. This is the competitive advantage of Microsoft over company A, which can be, for example, the same company in the same industry. To be an innovative organization, it doesn't mean that you invest one time in technology. You need to continuously do that. Technology is managed by human beings who have the knowledge. Therefore, knowledge sharing gives rise to the smart way of handling the technology. The difference between Microsoft intellectual capital, as you see, and tangible assets clearly shows that Microsoft has a superior way of handling knowledge. It shows their continuous, relentless, stopless effort in capturing, storing, disseminating means spreading knowledge in order to achieve their innovative goals concerning new product development. So, if you have a good knowledge management system, if you view knowledge as your capital, you have this competitive edge here. Successful knowledge management leads to competitive operational process and financial measures to be done. Faster, you do faster, better, more precise, and more consistent. So knowledge management helps you win. When you win, what happens? You get a reward, and this reward is a lot of profit, customer satisfaction, customer retention, employee satisfaction, because you have money to pay them a lot of gifts, rewards, and there is a whole upward trend here. And here is about the cost of not knowing. When information and knowledge were somewhere in the organization but not where they needed to be, what happens? Sometimes the cost of not managing knowledge is easier to pinpoint than the positive contribution of effective knowledge management. It means that if you know when your exam is, it's very normal to you. If you don't know when your exam is, that's when you understand the real value of knowing your exam date. So can we afford loss? And these pictures here show you when you are bankrupting, when you reach a dead end, when your company is sinking, and all the troubles that come to you. You will be like this guy when you don't know, and you need to know. So your business close. That's it. And this is the summary you can go through. Knowledge is an asset. Knowledge should be shared among the members of the organization, and all the good thing about knowledge management. Okay. The presentation is finished. Thank you very much for listening. Please take it seriously. Next session is the exam time. And if you are not presenting next session, it means that you will not get your score. So be prepared, be precise, be on time, and there is no excuse. I will not accept any excuses for next session. Thank you very much. Have a lovely week ahead. Bye-bye.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Sir, can I have some suggestions? Because
yes. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone. Good evening. Bye-bye.